Hey guys, do you ever feel like you are a character in your favorite movie or your favorite story? You know, The Wizard of Oz, The Wiz. You know, I just feel like that was one of my favorites. Of course, uh, what is it? The other one? Aida is my second favorite. It's like a tie between the two of them. The arts. I noticed that while the summer is going on, that there are children and the parents are needing to take them certain places, what have you. Do not forget to go to the public library. The public library can give you tickets to places that you would never even imagine that they would even have tickets to. Some people get to go to plays and all sorts of things because the school sometimes gives out certain tickets. If you ask through the summer program, sometimes they have tickets, but they don't have. They only have a few. And if you go and ask, your family can actually have that opportunity to take those tickets and utilize them. And the arts is something that you don't want to miss out on. I'm gonna be honest with you. I had tickets to see Cats so many times, but for some reason, that play would put me to sleep. And it seems like I'd be falling asleep, and one of the cats would come out of into the audience and wake me up, and I'm gonna tell you, it wasn't a good time for me to go see Cats when it came out. And the saddest thing about it is Cats is not even there out anymore. That was one of those plays that with musically talented people came out and interacted with the audience. It was a beautiful experience when I was awake to have that. But there was I guess some of the times that I had gone, I think I had to be about 8 times I had tickets for that play. I think one time I gave tickets to someone. But either way, sometimes we have opportunities open to us, but we don't utilize them because we don't know. The public library is definitely one of those things, one of those places that you can go to. And they have movies for children and popcorn. They have different programs and activities for the kids. So if it's too hot outside, please make sure that you are taking them to the library so that they are able to go ahead and have those experiences. Or even the arts, like I said, they can go to the plays because they've been given those tickets to be able to go out there and have those experiences. Excuse me, one of the things that we don't want to miss out on is spending that quality time with our family members. Sometimes you have children and maybe you don't have enough money. Just going to the library and sitting on the carpeted area and reading a book to them. And I'm gonna be honest with you, no matter what age group your children are in, everyone loves a good book to be read to them, especially if you can get into character, right? I mean, I've noticed with my nieces, my nephews, I've noticed on every age level, even when I taught high school, and let me tell you something, that was quite a challenge. When you are teaching on these different levels and you are working and interacting with these children, they love it, Sometimes they might say that's corny, but inside they really do love it. And teenagers, sometimes it seems almost like, like they are from a different planet. Once they reach a certain age, you're not able to connect and relate to them the same way. But trust me, they love a good book too. Because everyone loves an adventure, right? So I have to sideway into this one situation, okay? It was a guy, and he was born the last child in his family. Some people say that he picked up this anger because his mom stopped breastfeeding him too soon. Who knows? But he had a great deal of bitterness within. And with this bitterness, he was very angry all the time. And his older siblings, he couldn't get back at them. So he would bully their children. Now, I'm going to tell you, because it's very important that we realize that we are all gifted and talented in one area or another. This young man, when he was young, was given a gift. He was supposed to be the next Spud MacKenzie, before Spud MacKenzie was even born or thought of. That's the age group that he was in. This was back in the day. This young man, when he was a young man, when he was on the basketball court, it was like he was dreaming. He couldn't even believe the moves that he was able to make, but they were very easy. God was giving him a gift, and he did not even realize it. He saw it as something just to do as a hobby, and he enjoyed it sometimes. But I'm telling you, the girls loved him, the guys, they were envious of him on so many different levels. But he found himself trying to be in the in crowd and found himself taking things that he had no business taking. You know, some people say, oh, this person could have been, could have, should have, would have been. Let me tell you something. When God is giving you a gift and you don't utilize that gift, it can easily be taken away. Take advantage. Know what your worth is. If you have the gift, try to take advantage of this gift. So he had an older brother who everybody looked up to, but his older brother had no talent on the basketball court. His oldest brother had the gift of gab, but he didn't. He couldn't touch him on the basketball court. In fact, the older brother wanted to know how he was able to do these things. So somehow, as he got older, hanging with the wrong group of friends, he started taking drugs. And when he took these drugs, it caused him his whole career. He was never able to step back into the status. Now, you could see portions of it as he grew older. Sometimes if he went to the basketball court, but he lost total interest in it. This was supposed to be his way out of the ghetto. This was supposed to be his gift to help his family, although he never took advantage of it, so it slipped through his fingers just as easily as water does. And you know how you can now hold water in your hands. It'll slip through your fingers. Any crease, any crevice, that water is going through it. Every family has different people who are gifted. If the parents notice this gift, they must act and try to figure out how they might be able to be helpful. So this boy turns into a man very bitter. And because he did not have that connection with his mother, because his mother was basically going out and helping others, he took that internally as pain. He was very hurt by it. So who was your first teacher? Your mother. So what he ended up doing is he ended up hurting women around him because this was his act of pain. Counseling is needed in situations such as this. Now, I know you say, why is it that she starts off so good and then she goes into something bitter? We are learning here on this platform. And it's important that I share stories such as this so that you are able to see what's going on in your surroundings. Maybe you see a child and you see a mother and you see certain things happening and you can pull a curtail and say, look, ma'am, I think that your son might be, may need help in this area. I know someone, or I have a telephone number. Maybe he can go for counseling at this person's, agency. Whatever the case, whatever the situation, whatever the circumstances, we are being observant. Because sometimes when a parent or a person is in a situation, they might not know how to act on certain things, and they might not even see it. Sometimes you have to leave the environment to see what's really going on where you were. Sometimes it's almost like a mirror. You hold the mirror up close to you. When the mirror was at a distance, you were unable to see that something was in your nose. Now you hold the mirror closer and you see, oh, I better clean my nose. I don't want people to see what's going on. You understand? So, that's the example I found available. So that's the one I use. But people, we are all healing out here. And in our healing, we need to be of service. That's what we were sent here for. Some of you say, oh, I was just born. No, we were all born with certain gifts, with certain talents. It's important that we utilize them and help others, Now, I think I shared this story before. where my mother made this beautiful dress for me. Oh my goodness, it was beautiful, but she was taking a whole year to finish it. I was like, oh my goodness, man, I want to wear this dress. So my mother was sleeping one day, and I went into the closet and got this dress. And I put the dress on. Boy, I love this dress, boy. It had every color. It had pink and green, my favorites, you know. They just stood out in this dress. But it was such a beautiful dress. And I wore this dress, got, you know, and I went out the door with my brother. My brother was like, you sure you're supposed to be wearing that dress? I'm like, shh, don't say nothing. So I went ahead and I went to school. I got to school, I sat in front of this boy. Okay, I don't want to say his name, but let's just say his name was Mike, okay? I'm not going to say his last name because we already know, okay? But he was one of my playmates, but so annoying at times. You know, you remember certain people that you grew up with because you learned so much from them. I learned a lot from this boy. So we were in the school, in the classroom, and I'm sitting there, and I keep feeling something funny. But every time I turn around, I don't see anything. This boy was pulling the string from my dress. And he kept pulling the string and pulling the string. Now, I'm sitting and I'm not noticing anything. But my dress, the strings that he's pulling, apparently are making the dress shorter and shorter. Now, not only is it making the dress shorter, it's coming undone. Now here I am, I'm in elementary school. I was in PS 27 in Yonkers at the time. So I'm in the school and I'm, you know, sitting there, you know. Then all of a sudden somebody's like, is that your mom looking in? So I look, I try not to turn my full head because I know I'm in trouble. My mother, let me tell you something, you couldn't get away with anything with this lady, man. At least I know I couldn't. My brother could, but I couldn't. So I'm looking in my peripheral vision and I see her in the glass door, in the glass portion of the door, and I know I'm in trouble. So she comes, she knocks on the door, and the teacher says, please enter. How are you doing? Thank you so much for coming. And she says, can I have a word with my daughter? And the teacher says, oh, certainly. Just go see your mom, you know. So I really don't want to get out of the seat because I already know what's coming for me, you know. You know how that is when you do something wrong and you know what's coming for you. So as I get ready to get up, I realize, and my mother already saw it. So she has, I think she had like a towel, and she came to my seat and wrapped it around the bottom portion of me, and we walked outside the classroom. As soon as that door closed, she said, listen, Missy, I don't know what your problem is, but we're going to get down to the bottom of this. Excuse me. So we get into the bathroom. I said, Mommy, this is children. It doesn't matter what it is. You know what's going on here. So she has another dress for me, takes that dress off, and puts another dress on me. And she says, let me tell you something, Missy. I told you that this dress was not finished. Now, had I not gotten here in time, you would have been walking around here with nothing but your undergarments. Now, I don't know what it is that you're having a problem with, but we're going to fix that problem when you get home tonight. Boy, I tell you, it's something about somebody telling you what's coming for you and you don't want that thing. You know what I mean? So she walked me back to the classroom, said thank you to my teacher, and said, you come straight home after school. And that's funny because I really wanted to jump double dutch after school, you know? I had plans. So much for those plans. When I got home, you already know what I got. I got the code word tater chip. Remember I told you about tater chip? My father used the word tater chip in place of spanking because he didn't want people to know you was about to get something when you were home. So let's say you're in a crowded place. He'd use that code word, tater chip. And you start crying, and the old lady on the bus would say, what's wrong, you don't like potato chips? That wasn't the type of potato chip we were talking about. You knew what was coming for you. So when I got home that night, my mother looked at me and she said, let me tell you something. One thing we are not going to have in here are thieves and liars. Now, I don't like that L word. I would prefer saying story. Don't tell a story. But that's what she said. And usually when I was trying to get out of something, I would look up to God and I would pray. I would say, God, please help me out of this. please. And he would be like, listen, you know you did something wrong, you're going to pay for it, you know you're going to have to deal with the circumstances for now, but I want you to be better. Because basically, I know that these examples, these experiences that I had did make me a better person. Now, I'm not trying to in any way say that spanking children is a good thing, but that spanking sure enough taught me a lesson that I was not going to take anything out of my mother's house without permission. That's what it taught me. And it's important that we realize that our children do need some stories. They do need lessons in order for them to persevere. Without a story of your childhood, without you sharing, without you imparting certain gifts to them, how will they know better? Now, I'm not saying the spanking was a good part of the story, but I am saying talking to them, sharing different things with them. Children love to hear what it was like for you as a child. Because when they see you as an adult, this is all they see. This is all they know. Sharing these stories with them is always an awesome gift because it's something that they carry within. A part of you is always going to be with them when you share a story with them, okay? So that's been my word, guys. That's been my story. Thank you for joining us here at Indigo Moon. We are healing here, and we heal through our stories. Have a wonderful one.